Welcome to the greatest kindest video!
Hello and welcome. I'm Jenny Hall. Thanks for joining me for this month Creating Kindness video hop. Today I'm creating 3 cards from one single die cut. All of the cards will be created with the Dashing Deer stamp set, and I'll be using the same set of colors. I'll start the process by creating the die cut onto a panel of watercolor paper. Don't throw away that negative space because we'll be using it. I'm going to snip away part of the deer horns so that it won't be quite so tall as it would have been. And with a sponge dauber, I'm adding color to the die cut. Watercolor paper is really sturdy and it takes very well whenever ink is added in this fashion. So if you struggle with ink blending, this may be a good way for you to get some success. I'm adding Sahara sand onto the body of the deer, and then gray granite, and then just gray granite on the horn area. The horns are going to appear not brown, but they'll be not white. I would prefer them to be white, but because the card base is white, I want them to stand away, so gray will be good for a shadow. In the same way that I added the ink, I'm adding the balmy blue in a very, very light touch directly to the card base, and that's going to give me just a little bit of background atmosphere. Once the sentiment is stamped, I can apply the reindeer, and I've just attached him with some snail adhesive, and around the top of the card I'm adding some silver and white baker's twine. Because this is just a 1-layer card, it will be easy for me to be able to add a little dimension and give an atmosphere with a few of the adhesive backed pearls. For the inside of the card, I'm using a layer that is going to complement the front of the card and adding a few stamped images. I like how this stamp set has lots of possibilities for not just the inside but the outside of the card as well. So here we're going to use our negative space as a stencil. This is card number 2, and I'm taking that negative space and putting it in front of a piece of designer series paper from Festive Farmhouse. With the same set of colors, I'm going to sponge in a circular motion, kind of like I'm taking the sponge dauber and rotating it left and right instead of going back and forth. Kind of like like turning a knob on a stove. That way I can get more concentrated color in one spot without damaging that stencil, because I want to keep it around for card number 3. These are the same colors used previously, and now I'm just enhancing a few little spots. A gray granite Stampin' Right marker is going to help me make sure that all of those little tiny little lines that were in the stencil to be able to see easily. You could use any color marker you have that coordinates with the colors of this project. This step is not absolutely necessary, but I thought it would be nice to enhance some of those lines. The same sentiment is going to be used on the paper, just in a different location. And this is card number 2. Very easy to complete, and we still are using the same die cut as we used in the very first card. Nothing has gone to waste. With the addition of a red bow around the deer's neck, it's going to give this card a completely different feel than the first card did. The layering on this card has some Stampin' Dimensionals, which brings it up 1 layer, which is enough for me to add a few embellishments and know that it still will be able to go through the mail with no problem. Frosted and clear epoxy droplets that are in the holiday catalog are a perfect accent to keep this a little bit more on the masculine side. The inside of the card has a piece of designer series paper from Animal Expedition. I like how the grays match all of the other colors. And here is the third card that we are going to create with this one single die cut. Because the color is already added around all of the cut lines, I'm just going to use my paper snips and go around the outside edge. I'm leaving about a 1/8 of an inch space between the cut lines and the area that I'm cutting away. No details needed to be enhanced, just cutting out like a halo. So for background on this really pretty masculine type of look, I'm taking a white card base and with white embossing paste, just plain white embossing paste, I've used one of the decorative masks from Pattern Party, and while the paste is wet, I'm pushing that little die cut area directly down into the paste. And embossing paste does dry up pretty quickly, and so our little deer is going to stay in place. Now, if you find that it's not enough, then add something with a fine tip glue pen, and that should be enough to secure it in place. The inside of the card is just finished out with a little bit of neutral tones in the same colors we've been using all along. And that is 3 cards from one single die cut. You could adjust the colors. I kept them much more rustic and kind of a homey feel, and they would really appeal to like guys. So maybe if I have a guy card, then it's nice to have that as a Christmas card as well. Thank you so much for joining me today. I do hope that you click the link in the first line of the video description to go to the next person in the video hop. That way you'll get lots of ideas. All of the products that I have used today are available now in my online store, and this bundle, Dashing Deer, is 10% off, only for a limited time, so don't miss out. I'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for watching the video. Have a good day.